When we discuss men's health beyond the age of 50, one subject keeps appearing again and again, often in quiet conversations: testosterone. Some men view it as a symbol of masculinity, others see its decline as a reminder of aging, and many are left uncertain by the endless flood of advice circulating on the internet. One of the biggest myths I hear of your clinic is that testosterone levels are completely out of your control, nothing more than a byproduct of age that you cannot control, less to keep the product of age that you cannot change. Another common belief is that you need costly supplements or extreme diets to maintain your hormones. The truth is, your everyday food choices, even something as ordinary as the nuts you eat, can influence your testosterone, your energy, and even your long-term prostate health. Here is why this is so important. By the time men reach their 50s, research shows that nearly half will notice symptoms of low testosterone: fatigue, less muscle strength, reduced sex drive, mood changes, and sometimes erectile issues. According to the National Institutes of Health, testosterone levels naturally fall by about 1% per year after the age of 30. But that decrease is not the same for everyone. Your lifestyle, your diet, and your overall metabolic health can either speed up that process or slow it down dramatically. You might be surprised to learn that nuts, yes, the simple handful of almonds or walnuts you snack on, are not only a source of healthy fats. They also contain compounds that can either help testosterone production or in some cases interfere with it. And this is exactly where misinformation creates confusion. Some people claim that all nuts are equally good for men's health. That is simply not true. In fact, scientific studies reveal that while certain nuts are rich in nutrients that fuel testosterone production, others are high in compounds that may lower available testosterone or raise estrogen-like activity. So in this talk, I want to guide you through the science in a straightforward and practical way. We will look at 5 nuts that consistently show benefits for testosterone and vitality in men over 50. And we will also look at 2 nuts that may actually work against you if eaten too much. My goal is not to scare you away from foods you enjoy, but to give you clarity. The same kind of clarity I give my patients when they ask me, "Doctor, what should I really eat to support my hormones?" By the end of this, you will know not only which nuts to focus on, but also why they work, how to add them to your daily routine, and what the latest clinical studies actually show. More importantly, you will understand that your hormones are not a mystery, and you are not powerless against aging. Think of this as a guide to protecting your vitality with something as simple and natural as the food you put on your plate. Almonds are one of the most widely consumed nuts in the world. They are often promoted as a healthy food because they are packed with vitamin E, magnesium, and monounsaturated fats. But when we talk about testosterone, almonds have a story that is both interesting and often misunderstood. Here is what research has found. Testosterone in your body is influenced not only by how much your testes produce, but also by how much of it is free and active versus bound and inactive. Certain compounds in foods can shift this balance in subtle ways. Almonds, for instance, are rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids. While these fats are excellent for heart health, in large amounts, they may change the ratio of free to bound testosterone. A study in the Journal of Steroid Biochemistry found that diets very high in polyunsaturated fats were linked to lower circulating testosterone compared to diets richer in monounsaturated or saturated fats. But that does not mean are harmful for men. Quite the opposite. Almonds provide magnesium, against in the evolution divide research, and magnin shown in men who magnesium and his agnarase in a study published in Biological Trace Element Research to support testosterone levels, particularly in men who exercise, who exercise. You can think of magnesium as the spark plug in your hormonal system. Without it, the machinery of testosterone production cannot run properly. Almonds also lower oxidative stress, which indirectly protects the Leydig cells in the testes, the very cells that are responsible for producing testosterone. So, how should we interpret this? Picture testosterone production as a factory. Almonds supply that factory with magnesium and antioxidants that keep the machines running and protect them from wear and tear. But if you overload the factory with too many polyunsaturated fats, the machines may slow down a little. That is why balance matters. A small handful of almonds, about 20 to 25 per day, is generally very helpful. But depending on almonds alone, as your main nut, especially in very large amounts, may not be the best choice for testosterone. In my practice, I often advise patients to enjoy almonds as part of a mix of nuts. Pairing them with walnuts or Brazil nuts balances the fatty acid profile and strengthens the overall hormonal benefits. It is not about one food being magic or harmful. It is about synergy. Here is the practical takeaway. Almonds are excellent for your heart and provide nutrients that indirectly support testosterone. But use them as part of your daily meals. But do not depend on them alone. Instead, think of almonds as the supportive teammate, nuts the star player. Walnuts are often called the brain nut because their shape looks like the human brain, but their benefits reach far beyond mental health. For men over 50, walnuts can be a strong ally for testosterone balance, cardiovascular protection, and inflammation control. Let us begin with their nutrient profile. Walnuts are the richest nut source of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid. Why does this matter? Inflammation is one of the hidden enemies of testosterone. When the body is inflamed, whether from obesity, insulin resistance, or chronic illness, the testes produce less testosterone, and what is produced often does not work effectively. These studies in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism show that chronic low-grade inflammation is strongly tied to hypogonadism or low testosterone in older men. Walnuts, with their omega-3 content, help calm this inflammatory storm. But that is not their only role. Walnuts also improve endothelial function, which refers to the health of the lining of your blood vessels. Better blood flow means better delivery of nutrients and hormones all over the body, including to the testes and the penis. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that adding walnuts to the diet improved endothelial health within just a few weeks. If you imagine testosterone production as a factory, then good blood flow is the shipping and supply chain. Without it, even if the factory is producing, the goods cannot reach their destination. Some men worry that walnuts, being calorie-dense, may cause weight gain. But multiple studies, including one in obesity reviews, show that people who eat nuts regularly often have better weight control. That is because nuts like walnuts are high in fiber and protein, which help you feel full. And since excess belly fat is one of the strongest risk factors for low testosterone, keeping a healthy weight with satisfying foods like walnuts is another way they support hormones. So how do you include them? Just a small handful per day, around 7 to 10 halves, is enough to provide benefits. Some men add them to oatmeal, yogurt, or salads. Others just snack on them raw. The key is not quantity, but consistency. You do not need a bowl full. You need a steady supply. The real-life takeaway is this. Walnuts lower inflammation, improve circulation, and indirectly keep testosterone steady. Think of them as the maintenance team for your hormonal and vascular systems, keeping things working quietly behind the scenes.